Who knows what's going on at this wedding? It's going to Monday Night Football tonight. So who needs Jim when you have Ben Fadden? Ben Fadden talking Friars back with us here on Jon and Jim. Ben, hope you're doing well, and thanks for hopping on, man.
Doing well. Thanks so much, John.
All right, so I want to start. There's a lot going on with the Padres in terms of the hot stove and the offseason now underway. We haven't seen a ton of baseball movement in general. First and foremost, the Robert Suarez deal. Do you think it means anything for Josh Hader related to 2023, or do you think it's going to be like we saw in 2022? Hader is going to be full-time closer. Suarez is the full-time eighth-inning guy. And then moving forward, Suarez will likely assume the closer duties beyond 2023.
Yeah, beyond 2023, I think it's Suarez as the closer. I don't see Josh Hader coming back after this season. I was surprised that they gave Robert Suarez 5 years. So for after 2023, yeah, it's Suarez. It's his job. But for this year, I think it's going to be the same. I think you're going to see Hader as the closer, Suarez as the eighth inning guy. You're trying to go all out for this year. You're obviously going all in. So trading Hader, that's not going to happen. I've seen some people try to bring that up. And I think maybe the one change you could see is in the regular season. I think Hader's still the closer most nights, but they can be cautious with him, and if he needs rest, they don't need to be throwing him. They can have Robert Suarez close and have Garcia pitch the eighth, and hopefully Drew Pomeranz is healthy at some point during the year, and who knows what other bullpen pieces are on the roster. I think Hader might have a lighter load with Suarez on the team, but Hader's still the closer this year.
Were you surprised at all by the 5-year deal? I know there's all this discussion in baseball about relievers getting more than maybe even 2 years, maybe more than 3 years, but Suarez was so valuable in 2022. Do you have any concerns with the length of the deal or not?
Right now, I have more like Peter Seidler's view on it. At least I think this is what his view is on it. Like, go all in, try to win right now. Who knows what will happen in those fourth and fifth years? I'm someone that likes giving relievers probably 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. I think that's a lot. But when you're trying to go all in and you're trying to win, Robert Suarez can help you do that right now. And you knew that some team was going to be desperate and give him a lot of years. Padres wanted him, and so they knew that they had to pay that much money. They knew they had to give him more years than they probably wanted. It's about winning right now.
And it's as good of a deal as maybe we've seen so far in the baseball offseason. Robert Suarez back to the Padres on a 5-year, $46 million deal. Ben Fadden talking Friars with us right now on Jon and Jim. Great follow, by the way, on social media if you are a Padres fan. All right, Nick Martinez. I mean, we were led to believe that he might not even opt out. Then he opts out, but we're hearing that maybe they're working on a deal. What do you believe might be a holdup, and are you concerned that Nick Martinez will not be back?
Yeah, so I just actually did an episode on this. I think I'm not concerned Nick's going to be back. I think they do reach an agreement. I just think that there's various things that are holding this up. Nick Martinez doesn't have any deadline right now, so he probably doesn't feel any urgency to sign with the Padres. It seems like he wants to come back to the Padres, but he just doesn't have urgency. Him and his agent can field calls all day long from other teams. Who wouldn't want Nick Martinez right now? I mean, we saw how valuable he was to this Padres team, so he could be using other teams for leverage. If there's another team out there that wants to give him 3-starter money and the Padres don't want to do that, well, if they want Nick Martinez, then they're probably going to have to do that. Or maybe there's a team that's giving him more years than the Padres want. There's a lot of things that could be holding it up. Nick Martinez might want an opt-out or might want opt-outs in there like he did in the previous contract in case he has another great 2023 season after having a good 2022 season. And maybe the Padres don't want those opt-outs in there. They want to just give him the contract, have the security that he's going to be a Padre for a few years. So there's just a lot of different things that could be holding it up now that there is no deadline, that, you know, there's no player option deadline. He's already passed that.
Ben Fadden talking Friars with us right now on Jon and Jim. I know you saw the Jim Bowden prediction of Anthony Rizzo. Again, just kind of throwing out names that are free agents. He said Anthony Rizzo to the Padres this offseason. If you were to make a prediction, well, I could ask you, this is kind of a two-part question. I mean, do you think that that's a good idea from the Padres' perspective? And if you were to make a prediction in terms of a high-profile free agent to make his way to San Diego, what would you predict?
I would say Jose Abreu over Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe that's just my personal preference. I mean, I'd love to have Rizzo, no doubt about it, but the Padres would have to give up their second-best draft pick, their fifth-best draft pick, and $1 million in international bonus pool money. You don't have to do that with Abreu. The White Sox already offered the qualifying offer to him, and he accepted it before he got that 3-year extension with them a few years ago. So you just sign him, just like a regular free agent deal. So first base, probably Abreu. I think that's a big possibility. Other big names, I mean, it's A.J. Preller, so it's hard to predict. I know Sean Murphy could be a name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Brown from the A's, just lower cost guys because, Kevin Acee did talk about that $25 million number. I still think that they end up spending more than that this offseason. It's just hard to predict big names coming because we can sit here all day long and talk about big name free agents, but Preller might just go get a big name on the trade market that we had no idea was available, like he's done many times in the past.
Yeah, it's well said, and you're 100% right. Okay, so let's say Nick Martinez, even if he does return, you still have to round out this rotation. You would have 4 starters at that point. How could you see them rounding it out? I mean, could it be internal, or do you think they make a run at a veteran starter, or even someone out of Japan like Kodai Senga?
Yeah, well, Senga, I think that's going to cost a lot of money, probably at least 5 years, over $70 million. So I don't know if they go that route, especially if they bring back Nick Martinez. But back end, you could go like a Trevor Williams. I think he filled in for DeGrom, cheap salary, minor league invite or spring training invite maybe. You could go that route with a variety of names that might not get picked up by a team, or they don't like the offer that they were given to a team, maybe a non-contender, and they want to come to a contender at least in spring training. I think you'll see the Padres give Jay Groom and other guys like that a chance, but if you're trying to really contend here, I don't know if they're trying to contend for the division. I mean, you want to, you have talent, but you're just trying to get in. You're trying to keep, your big guys healthy, and what you need there is guys to start games and be healthy. And so, guys, I mean, Jameson Taillon, he's not a back-end guy, but guys like that can stay healthy and pitch quality in and give quality starts. Quality starts is key, I think, for what the Padres are going to be looking for at the back end. So you could be looking at trades like I was talking about earlier, or it could just be those veteran one-year deal type guys at the back.
Ben Fadden talking Friars. Ben, before we let you go, Fernando Tatis Jr., we're always talking about, when he gets back on field, where is he going to play? So let's say he can stay healthy, which is, of course, is a big if. But if, he's on the field for, 130-ish games next year, how do you see it playing out? Like X% at DH, X% in the infield, X% in the outfield. How could you see it shaking out?
Yeah, in terms of the outfield thing, it would kind of be dumb for me to predict that right now because we just don't know what the rest of the roster looks like. If they don't go get a power-hitting outfielder, then probably goes to the outfield. So if that happens, then, yeah, the majority of the games he's going to be playing is in the outfield. I think it would be smart for the Padres to leave that DH spot open so he can DH games, and I'm sure they will because AJ doesn't really have a firm DH whenever they've had the chance to have the DH. He likes to have multiple guys fill that hole or fill that lineup spot. So I'd probably lean towards at least 20% or maybe a little less than that, of games where Tatis DHs. They need the guys batting the lineup, right? It's great. He has range and he has an arm, and I think he's improved defensively, but he's there for his bat, for his power, for his speed, getting on base, making things happen. So they need his bat in the lineup, and DH is one way to keep him healthy, or at least increase his odds of staying healthy.
No doubt about it. Ben, always appreciate it. Make sure to go on Twitter and maybe rip Jim for not being on his own show for like 10 consecutive days because of a wedding. But again, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, an exciting off season for Padres fans. Again, the Padres sitting in a good spot, having reached the NLCS. They don't have to do a ton to put themselves hopefully in a similar position in 2023. But Ben, we always appreciate it, and we hope to have you on again soon this offseason.
Yeah, San Diego sports is in a great spot right now. Aztecs doing well, Jalen Maiden, and then that San Diego State basketball team. They're an exciting watch. You're doing a great job, by the way, those last couple broadcasts on your view. So keep it up. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Ben. I really do. Ben Fadden, Talking Friars, great follow. He really is for Padres fans. He's also very into what's going on with San Diego State football and basketball. Again, Ben Fadden from